This morning, 8 explosions rocking churches and luxury hotels in Sri Lanka.
8 coordinated bombings across the country.
So they have not allowed anyone to go inside to check the damage, so there are reported a lot of dead bodies inside.
More than 300 dead, churchgoers, children, the innocent. A senseless act that left people in Sri Lanka and around the world in grief and despair. And what worries U.S. officials are the claims of responsibility by the terror group ISIS, which used its social media outlets to post these videos of the supposed suicide bombers swearing allegiance to ISIS before the attacks. All coming just weeks after President Trump declared the battle against ISIS a huge success.
The ISIS caliphate has been decimated. Nobody thought it was possible to do it this quickly.
But now a new documentary, ISIS Tomorrow, The Lost Souls of Mosul, being seen here for the first time, shows how the children of ISIS may well be a new generation of fighters carrying out the same goals as their fathers.
أبوي مات أخويا مات ظلني بس عن كبير مثل اليوم قبل ما طلعنا بيومين قال أبوك انشتى طيارة قصفتهم.
هذا يعني ما من سنة 2003 ما انتهى فكرة يعني الداعشي من دور أبو مصعب الزرقاوي واستطاع الأمريكان يقتلون أبو مصعب ويسجنون الباقيين وكتلوا، بس الفكر ما انتهى لحد هاي اللحظة، بالعكس قووا. يعني حتى إذا خسرنا الموصل أو سرت أو الرقف هذا ما يعني لنا شيء، وهاي أرض أي وقت إحنا نخسرها. يعني فداعش ما أظن إنه ينتهي بسؤال. يقولون إذا أرادوا ينهونا لازم ينهونا القرآن. يقولون إحنا مسيرتنا ما تقف.
Joining us now is the director of that amazing film, Francesca Manacchi, and Karen Greenberg, who's the director of the Center on National Security at Fordham University School of Law. Thank you both for joining us. Francesca, what an amazing film to be in there with all those children in those camps. How long did it take you to do that, and were they so forthcoming with you?
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me here. It took 1 year and a half. 1 year and a half. We started the beginning of the offensive in 2016. We started filming this documentary in October 2016 till last May 2018. 10 trips in Iraq, months in Iraq, spending meeting these people, meeting the families of ISIS, the relative of ISIS fighter, ISIS families, ISIS widow, ISIS orphan, ISIS children, people already stigmatized, already abandoned, both during the offensive, both during the war, and now much more than before. They are living in these camps, they are living without any kind of aid, without electricity, without the right to have aid or food aid or the right to return to school. And I think we have the responsibility to rehumanize these families and these people.
Karen Greenberg, as you watch this film, what's your takeaway about the threat that these young children may one day pose to the U.S. and the world?
I think the threat of instability throughout the region is going to persist for a long time, and that the instability of these children who are not sufficiently taken care of, not sufficiently educated, not sufficiently fed at times, is going to be a problem. And I think that the fact that it's a problem can't mean that the countries of the world run away from it. They have to address, as this film tells you very clearly, building a new civil society throughout the region.
We have a question from our control room. Help me, Rhonda, a moment. Rhonda Schwartz, our executive producer. Rhonda?
Francesca, it's a great documentary. It's no expense seems to have been spared to go after ISIS. What needs to be done for the women and children in these camps? What do they need?
Thanks for the question, Rhonda. I think that we as a journalist, I'm speaking as a journalist, we need to build a counter narrative on these families. We have described these families, this father and their families, just like a black monolith, and this kind of narrative led public opinion and Western government to tolerate everything in name of security. So we have to begin to describe these people like human beings, not like just an enemy. A mother is a mother. Children are children. A child is a child, no matter who is the father. He's suffering. He cannot attend school. So we have to take the burden of the responsibility for this generation.
And with that stigmatization that goes on, there are ISIS children. What's the impact, do you think, Karen Greenberg, on the children themselves? It just sort of prepares them to be fighting back?
Well, it's not just about fighting back. It's what we know about early childhood, young children, what deprivation does to their brains, what fear, what being in war zones does to the development of their brains. So we're really talking about a crisis that's in the moment. And look, we've watched the world try to balance security versus civil society now for almost 2 decades. And we haven't quite figured it out yet. And now we have a crisis in which we almost have to start immediately and just take the best of our knowledge and not run away from this problem.
Francesca, are there mental health professionals helping these children? Is there counseling for them?
Not enough, definitely not enough. There are refugees camps which are in the middle of nowhere, not only in Iraq, as we described in the documentary, but the case of Baghouz, it's a awful case. I mean, they were expected to have 10,000 people, and they are facing 8,000 people. And among them, there are 11,000 foreigners from more than 30 nationalities. And all these countries are refusing to bring them back.
So they're stuck there in the middle. Karen Greenberg, where do you think they're going to end up?
I think, I hope that a number of these countries will actually take them back, that the adults that are accused of supporting ISIS one way or another will agree to face some kind of judicial process, that the children will be taken care of. That's the just thing to do, particularly when rendering individuals stateless is considered to violate international law.
And just quickly, what has the U.S. position been?
The U.S. position has been that they have not yet made up their minds what they're going to do. It is now being litigated through the courts.
And it's standing by for them to go somewhere? U.S.?
The question is, will they repatriate, in particular, this one woman, but she's not the only one, and what will happen with their children?
Well, thank you very much for being here. Francesca Bonacchi and Karen Greenberg, thank you very much. An amazing film, and thank you for sharing it first here with us and the Law and Crime Network. I hope others get to see it soon. There's some powerful lessons to be learned there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.